Welcome back, guys. Today's episode, we are going to discuss about how we can maintain the happiness, how we can be happy always. I know every day we are going through different kind of situations, but how we can survive the extreme negative situation which you can't avoid as part of your job, as part of day to day interactions, whatever happens outside, still, how you can maintain your internal happiness. Okay, so again, this is based on the we have to go through this basic skeleton we discussed throughout the previous episodes: the body, mind, intellect, equipment, the senses in the body, and mind, the platform where we can take the memories, which memory you want, and you can work on it. And the intellect is the efficiency, how efficiently you can work on the new information and connect it to the existing information, and how efficiently you can apply it. So the degree of efficiency is the degree of intelligence or intellect. Yeah. So again, for your happiness, we have to start from the root. What's the root? The senses. So the senses are the medium interact outside. That's a starting point. So while we are interacting outside, it can be sight, hearing something, tasting something, and touching. So the five senses, okay, the five senses are always interacting outside. So these each senses perceive a different kind of memory, and it trigger that memory, and corresponding we get the corresponding emotions and feelings. Okay, so we already discussed about this. So directly these are connected to our previous memories, the senses. Okay, so for a normal person or unconditioned mind or unconditioned brain, it's a direct stimulation, like when you see something, and what is the corresponding similar memory you have, it is connected to that, and that memory will be triggered for an unconditioned brain. So this is what is exactly happening in our normal life, everyday life of a normal person. Okay, so we are getting mixed perceptions from outside, but we are going to focus on happiness. Okay, so we talk about how the senses works. Okay, so happiness is an emotion, right? So the basic interaction start from the senses. You are seeing something, or you are seeing someone. You are seeing someone, and that person make a perception, and that perception goes to your brain and trigger a memory, and what memory is triggered, based on that corresponding emotions are produced. So this is the cycle of event. So we are going to put a filter in between at some point of the cycle. Okay, so we are going to put the filter so that the corresponding emotion is not produced, other than that filter will be monitored, that filter, that position, that point, this perception will be monitored by the intelligence and the thought process, and convert that information into a positive information. So we are going to do an intervention in this cycle of process. Okay, so what we are going to do is put a filter, before the corresponding emotion is triggered. We are going to manipulate it and convert that into a happiness, a positive emotion. You can do it in two ways. Either you can convert that into a positive emotion or positive thought, or you can just stop that stimuli there at the point where we put the filter. It's which is convenient for you, you can practice that. So if you know about the basic functions of this basic skeleton, the body, the senses, the mind, and the intellect, the thought process, I discussed clearly in previous episodes. You should, if you are well versed in this, then you can customize your emotions and feelings. You can customize your emotions and feelings. You can work on your trauma, and you can work on your bad memories and make it pleasant. You can do it. Okay, so it's the same thing we are going to do here, the intervention. So it based on your interest, what you want to do. So if you know all this, if you are thorough with all this, its components, how it works, how the brain works, what happens when we see something, and how it is connected to your emotions. When you are expert, when you are expert in this, you understand the cycle of process, what is happening once we perceive something. Okay, so you can customize it. Okay, so maybe some site will be triggering a different emotion for you, maybe a completely different emotion for me. Okay, so it depends on different, your experiences. So each person's perception will be completely different. Okay, so you have to work on what is positive for you, what is negative for you, and use the cycle of process. The cycle of process, and you can use this intervention before it trigger your emotion. This is the logic, and this is the principle behind how we can keep ourselves happy by filtering the negative perceptions, negative experiences. Everything should be filtered through this, what filter you want to put in this cycle, and then you can experience what you want to experience. Okay, so this is the basic principle and logic. If you can understand this, you can practice. It's not easy, you can say it's so easy, but to make it as part of you is not an easy process. You have to put some striving for this. You have to practice this. But this information, this knowledge this knowledge will give you an insight how it works. So it's the first step. And now I will give you some tips and some initial steps, like which will help you to synchronize your body and mind. So this is the first step. If you want to work on your brain and emotions and memory, it's not an easy process. Okay, so to start working on that, it's a higher level of process. To reach there, you should start from this basic steps. Like you should discipline your mind and thought process, and you should have a control on your thoughts. So that's the first step we have to do. So I will start from the body, how the body is connected to outside. Our body is connected to outside through the tip of the nose, because we are connected to outside through our breathing. So the air we breathe here in New Zealand, this air may be in UK like hours ago, right? It can travel, it travels. The complete earth atmosphere is moving based on the temperature changes. It's moving. So we are connected to this air. So that's how body is connected to outside. So there is some science in breathing exercise. No? So when you do breathing exercise, we are bringing this discipline to our body, because this breathing is connected to the rhythm of our heart, because the air goes to the lungs and the lungs is connected to the heart, and the breathing, the oxygen, then the blood from different parts of the body, and the impure blood comes to the lungs, and that blood receives this oxygen and then go back to the heart, and then again it's distributed to all parts of the body. So bringing a discipline to your breath gives a discipline to your body through its functions, the metabolism, the heart rate, then through the heart rate, the metabolism, elimination, excretion, all the processes. So it gives a discipline. Now we are going to connect the body to synchronize with the mind, or the mind intellect process. we are going to connect our thought, you know, our thought with the breathing. So usually these are the basic steps for meditation, the meditation practice. These are the like primitive stages. In primitive early stages, this is the basics of meditation used to be. But now it has changed, different modes of training, like how the different we can practice meditation in different ways now. But this is there's a science behind this. So the breathe, when you breathe, one breath, that we should be conscious about the thought. What is the thought in your mind when you breathe? So if you want to focus, consciously keep the same thought with each breath. So if you are successful in keeping the same thought continuously, then gradually your mind and your body will be synchronized. Because it should be, it is created in that way. It reaches its maximum efficiency when it is the mind and the body is synchronized. So these are the basic steps you can practice. It's not easy, really this need hard work, but you can just try that. You can just give it a try and just see. First it will be really hard, but you can just look into it. Hope you enjoy the session. Thanks for listening. See you next week.